In Linux and Unix systems, the permissions, the base permissions that are applied to files are applied on the basis of the access right are either read, write, or execute. And it has execute as a different meaning for both files, where it means, well, you can run the file if it's a script or a binary, or you can traverse the folder if it's a folder. So execute means you can do a cd in that folder. So we have three permission, read, write, execute, and they are applied to three different types of users of the system. The first is a user/owner. So this is a person that owns the file, the user, the login that owns the file on the system. The second is group, everybody who is in the same group. And then we have others. So others are users on that Linux system that are not the owner of the file and that are not in the group that the file belongs to. Okay, so that means that being able to change ownership of a file or folder in terms of both the user that owns the file or folder or the group that that file or folder belongs to is really important. And we have a tool. We have a little tool here named chown that allows us to do just that. And the syntax for chown is very easy. So we are going to illustrate it just on a few examples really quickly. So in this folder, I have something called my file, which is just a text file. You can see the permission that I have set for it. Other people on the system can do absolutely nothing on that file. People in the same group that the file belongs to can read it. So this is where ls-l tells us the group. So you see that for each user by default for each user of the system, there is a group that has the same name as that username. So my username is tux, and this is the owner of the file. So you see here that you can read and write the file, but not execute it. So the owner tux has also a group tux. Okay. So if I want to change the ownership of the file, well, I need first to be able to do so. So here in this terminal window, I'm logged in as user tux. Okay, so I have write access, I have ownership of the file. Perfect, I can change things. Here in this other terminal, I'm logged in as user tux sudo. I apologize for the bad pun, but I could not resist it. So we have a user here tux sudo, and it has actually entered the /tux edu folder. So both users are currently in the same folder. And if I do ls-l here, I see the same thing, right? I see that this file belongs to tux. But of course, because I am not the owner of the file, I'm going to have problem changing ownership. So let's try by doing this, okay? Let's start by using chown. So chown, by the way, stands for change owner, okay? But you are going to see that it's the same tool that's used to change a group to which a file belongs. So chown, and let's say that I want to appropriate myself this file. So I say that its owner should be tux sudo, and I specify my file. Okay, so there could be one file, two files, many files, a mix of files and folder here, no problem, okay? And there are some options that you can specify even before the owner name, like for example -r, which is the same option named that for chmod actually, that allows you to apply those changes recursively if you specify a folder name. All of the subfolders, files in those subfolders are going to be affected, okay? So again, we're not going to talk much about options because really if you do a chown --help, you should have enough information to learn about them. If you read the main page, same thing. So these are things that are actually self-explanatory, and you're invited to look at them for yourself, actually. We are going to focus on just the base syntax here. So chown, a new username, and then the file that I want to change. And of course, it's not going to let me do it. Okay, so if I do ls-l, you can see that nothing changed. Okay, it still belongs to tux, user tux, and group tux. So let me go back to my original terminal window. I am logged in as user tux, and now let's say that I want to give that file away to my other user. So I change the owner to tux sudo, and I change the owner for my file. Okay, and it's going to tell me again, in this case, tuxedo operation not permitted to change ownership. So what's going on here? Well, it's not enough to be owner of the file and just have access to the file to change its permission. Okay, you need something extra. You need to be able to actually require temporarily privileges, root privileges, to apply your chown command. So let's try that again. Okay, so this time I'm using sudo. Refer to the previous video we had on the sudo tool if you need a refresher. I need sudo to chown, change the owner to tuxedo of my file named my file. Okay, so I already entered my password a little while ago, so it's not prompting me for my password, but it should if you hadn't used it within a certain number of minutes. And now we take a look at what's happening here, and you can see that on my file now tuxedo has been changed. Okay, so it requires a privilege to change the username. Now we're going to look at the last bit of syntax with chown. There's really not much to it. What if I want to change also the group? Okay, so for example, the group here is tux. So I know that every user has its own group. So I could do a chown tuxedo tuxedo, and that would say I want to change the owner to be tuxedo, and then the group to be tuxedo as well. Okay, and you can do that with any of the user that are defined on your system. So let's see, generally we have a user named nobody. Okay, so I can give ownership of the file to nobody, but be careful because this file is in your home directory. Okay, so even if you give ownership to somebody, the ownership and the permission need to work hand in hand. So you can see here that your home directory /edu folder is actually rwx, rx for everybody else. So that's fine. People can get, I'm guessing the home folder is the same way. Let's take a quick look. The home folder is, yes, the home folder is such that you can do anything, and then others of the system, people in your group or others, can do a read and execute, so they can enter. So that means that people can enter your home directory, then they can enter your edu directory as well. Everybody has X permission, and then they can find this file. And right now, that user nobody tuxedo, well, in theory, they can read-write. As a user, nobody can read-write, and anybody in the group tuxedo can read. So they can reach a file, and they can actually do something with it. Okay, especially user nobody can even write, delete it, do stuff like that, and anybody in the group tuxedo can at least read it. But anybody else might be able to reach that folder, but then they're not going to be able to do anything on the file. So you have to be careful, okay? Just changing the ownership and the group ownership of a file in the middle of a hierarchy. If you configure that hierarchy permission so that nobody can even get there, well, the file is theoretically, you know, belonging to somebody else, but that other user will not be able to actually reach it. Okay, so make sure that you always keep things balanced and check between permission and ownership. But other than that, the syntax of chown is pretty simple, and I invite you to take a quick look at the option by yourself by using, for example, the man chown to access its man page.